Well, actually, I think there's two questions inside your only one question. The first one is why creating a startup? Why the hell creating a startup? And the second one is why is this one? So for the first one, it wasn't my destiny. So my parents are teachers. I'm really not the kind of guy that create a startup. But as a young engineer, my first job was inside a small company. What we think was a small company, actually it was a startup, and it gave me the virus. And then for the next question, the why this one, the reason is this technology, 3D printing, is really amazing. No, I mean it's really amazing. Even 4 years ago, we had, so I founded this company 4 years ago, and 4 years ago we had a technology that was able to create real objects. Not this kind, or not this kind of object. So this is a silver jewelry. It's a plain silver, it's real silver, and it's 3D printed. We didn't have this kind of machine, but we had very interesting machines, and we were able to create real objects. And we think it was a game changer, but at the same time, it wasn't used at all. It was used only by very big factories, very big companies, or research labs using 3D printing to create markups or prototypes. And we just think that it's not enough. We have to share this technology. We have to use it. So that's the full answer.
So I think my story is, I'm a technologist and I love to build things. I met Mark Benioff with my two co-founders in 1998, in the late fall of 1998. He had this idea that he came to us with. We had a background in Salesforce automation and super early cloud computing back when Java was getting started. And I just saw an opportunity to work with some of the smartest people that I knew at the time. Certainly our CTO that I co-founded the company with, and also Mark, and I knew that we could create something great. I had no idea it would go. I mean, Mark will tell you, we saw this perfectly, this vision, and it all happened. But you know, it's easy to write history once you succeed. But we didn't really know where it was going to go. But I just knew that, number one, I could have the ability to create it myself, that I wasn't following as an employee. I could control that creation. And also cloud computing, for me, what I love is I can create something and I can see it used. I can watch it being used, and I know when it's good, and I know when it's bad too, and I can fix that. And I have, you know, my reward is I hear customers come to me and they tell me the value that I'm giving them, and you know, out of something that I created. And that's why I'm still so excited to be at Salesforce, because we continue to create, we continue to build, and innovate.
Nice. I can reflect on that too. I think Startup Weekend, like when we started it, we rebooted it, but it was less for Startup Weekend than for my co-founders. And actually what happened is I was living a year and a half in an apartment, like doing the whole startup thing. Like what was your next step? Like as soon as you decided to start to your business, how was it like for you guys? How was it at the beginning? And for you guys, like how is it, I guess, you know, when you started that? I think it was in 2007 for you, and I can't remember when it was for you, Clément. But if you can you tell us, like, how was it and try not to distort reality too much and make it like beautiful, or maybe it was. But if you can give us a taste of these early days, like how was the first year? Was it beautiful? Was it great? Was it like as amazing as everybody's saying, or like is it?
So for Sculpteo, we had a quite special beginning. From the beginning we had money. Actually, it's not the common case of startups, and we had money because our previous company, Inventel, got acquired by Technicolor Group for a big amount of money, and my chairman and co-founder decided to invest about 2 million euros in creating Sculpteo, so 1.5 million. So it was a very special feeling to have this money, and now we have to make something with this. So normally it happens after 1 or 2 years when you finally get your financing, VC or business angels around the table. But for me, it was from day one. So the good thing is that you can pay for the bill. The bad thing is that now you have to make something. So I hired people. It was my first task, hiring people and then creating this team. And with this team, we created the first product. And probably this is the first mistake that we have done. We created this first product. And the product was very, very general. It's a very simple website. It's Sculpteo.com website. It's a very simple website where you can push your 3D file and we produce it in our factory. So we created also a factory, not only a team and a software, but also a factory. And then, of course, it was a mistake because we believed that you as a customer will take your time and energy to create real objects because you really like to create objects. But in fact, you didn't. No, I mean it, you just didn't. Every day and every night, I was discussing about Sculpteo. I told people what we were doing, and everyone was just saying me, wow, it's wonderful. I will be your customer today. And they didn't. So we take 18 months to discover why. It's a very long time, and it's probably half of the 2 million euros that we raised from the beginning, getting this product in the right direction. And the real answer is that you didn't order from Sculpteo because it's too hard to create. So you're not a designer. Or maybe some of you are designer, but all of you are not designer. If you're just like me, I can use a pencil, but I can't create something. I can write my name with a pencil, but I can't sketch this cup. I'm just not able to do this. And probably the majority of you are not able to sketch a cup from yourself. So we take 18 months to discover that we have to take this into account, and then we modified our business model, and we modified not exactly what we were doing, but we just modified the way we are doing it. And today we proposed templates, and we work a lot with professional designers to propose templates and to help professional designers to propose templates to our mass market audience.
With hindsight, was 18 months the right time, or could you have figured out, like, in, I don't know, with all the knowledge you've got now, like, would you make the same? Was it a mistake? That's my question. Or could you have, I don't know, done the same process in a month or 10 days? Or
yes, probably if we hadn't the money, we would not have created the factory and the website, and we would have been forced to think a little bit more about this. But it's also good to get the money. So that, no, I mean, if you start without anything, without money, without customers, with nothing, you have to make a very hard job getting the first bill paid and getting the first people in the team, and so it's really different. So.
How about you, Rachel? Like, did you get a big check when you started?
No, not at all. We were young Parisian executive, promising ones, and when we've decided to start with no money, we get back home, to our parents' home. So when you are 28, it's complicated. When you are at your mother-in-law house, it's much more complicated. No. So we've started, the first year we were coding, of course, and it was, Amazon was skyrocketing, the cloud of Amazon was skyrocketing. Salesforce was huge inspiration for us, and it confirmed, the way we wanted to grow, and it confirmed that we were somehow on the right track. So, and we absolutely wanted to open what we were doing to the world. So we have abused of the social networks to show each line of code, to show each new feature we wanted to to bring in the product, to be sure that we were not just the two of us with my co-founder crafting this product, but to be sure that it was really useful for the community, and the social networks are great to get feedbacks and to enrich the product. So first we've tried to contact the French community, and the French people, they said that we were just young punk and that we will completely fail, we will never succeed in cloud BI. And actually, all the positive feedback came from CTO of big companies, from large companies, from the US. So we also spent the first year to craft everything in English and to craft our marketing in English. And after 1 year, we've managed to present our project to the French Ministry of Research, and we've won a very big subsidy. And we were now able to catch investor attention, and we were also able to hire our first employees. So yes, the first year was complicated, but because we have opened our technology, what we were doing, we are not doing open source, but we were very sharing all our projects to be sure that we were on the right track the first year.
Do you still live and work from your mom's place?
Sorry?
Do you still work from your mom's place now? Or do you have a...
No.
Good. How about you guys?
Sure, I can just...
It's souvenirs, but I guess like, yeah.
Sure.
No.
I don't still live at my mom's place now.
Well, that wasn't my question. My question is just related to...
First year.
Yes.
Yeah. Our first year, I can just tell you what we did. All I can really remember from the first year was I'm sort of the sales and marketing person, and I had a technical co-founder. And I can just remember the whole year, we kind of did the same things for the whole first year. Every day, I went out and talked to potential customers for the product, and I demonstrated the product, and then I used the product myself a lot to market our own business. So I became very familiar with the market wanted and very familiar with the app. And then at night, I would sort of write up all the bugs I saw and write up ideas for what I wanted. And my co-founder and I, we both are kind of night owls, so we would work late into the night, and he would code up basically what I wanted for my demo the next day or fix the bug I wanted. That's really what I remember of the first year of HubSpot. We self-funded it, so we weren't scrapping for money. And probably a month and a half in, the first person I pitched on the product said to me, "That sounds good, I'll take it. How much does it cost?" I remember thinking to myself, well, we haven't covered that yet. Let me get back to you. So I went back to the office and I said, "What are we going to charge for this thing?" And Dharma said, "I don't know. I thought that was your department." I said, "I don't know what to charge for that." And he said, "How about $250 a month?" I said, "Perfect." And so I went back to the customer. I said, $250 a month. He said, "Done. Here's my credit card." And then we were kind of off to the races. And for the first 6 months, the product was terrible, embarrassing, terrible. And so sort of every customer we brought on, we were learning from them, but we were building up this sort of debt. And so we had to sort of meter our pace of customer acquisition at the beginning. But the whole first year, we're sort of the classic team of the business guy and the technical guy. I used the product, and I got customers, and my co-founder coded, and we just iterated over the first year. That's really what I remember.
So for Salesforce, you have to have some context. We started Salesforce as the internet bubble was expanding. And so the first year was magical, mainly because of that. So money was very easy to get. Mark Benioff was very well known. We didn't get money from any venture capitalists. We got money from angel investors, which was awesome because they didn't pressure us to do the wrong thing, to go public too soon, to change our revenue model. And we had very few employees. We had a patience to build before we actually started selling it, similar to what Brian was saying. And we were in an apartment. If you know San Francisco, there's a place in San Francisco called Coit Tower. And Coit Tower is a monument for the fires of 1905, I think. I think that's right. Is that right? And from the earthquake. and Mark had an apartment up there, and so we started an apartment right next door. And Mark said, coders, that was me, thankfully, get the view, and talkers, that would be you, Brian, downstairs. So it was a one-bedroom apartment, and it was, amazing, because we had previously had this small startup, and we'd had no view, and actually very little money. And we started Salesforce. We had an amazing amount of investment. We had these beautiful views of the San Francisco Bay, of Alcatraz, and the water, and sunlight, and we just cranked, and we built a prototype in a month. We had a background in Salesforce automation, so we knew exactly what we wanted to do. We put that prototype in front of everybody that we knew, but we didn't know that many people, but so it was everyone that Mark knew. We brought in venture capitalists. We didn't ask for their money, but we asked for their feedback. We brought in sales managers, salespeople, everybody. And it was just magical. We were going as fast as we could. We were probably 5. Mark wasn't even an employee at the time. He was the chairman, and he was still working at Oracle. And we were maybe 4 people. And that summer, the first summer, so we started in the spring. And the first summer, Mark said, okay, well, we have a friend of mine coming by tomorrow, and he's with the Wall Street Journal, and he wants to interview us. And we said, oh, well, maybe we should have a website. That would be a good thing to have, because if we get an article in the Wall Street Journal, maybe it would be good to have a presence on the internet when we're building an internet company. I mean, that's just kind of crazy now, right? No one would think that. We built a website really quickly, did the interview, took initial customers. We called them our design partners. They were free. We charged them nothing, because they were all internet startups in the bubble. None of them exist today. But they were willing to take a bet on us. And companies like iSyndicate, I can't remember all that, I remember that one, but a whole bunch of early companies. And they worked with us. We said, you can use it for free, but you have to give us feedback. And again, that same thing, and Brian, same thing, get feedback, get feedback. So we got feedback, and we were building it out, weren't charging anyone anything. And then we did the typical bubble thing. And usually this is what kills a company, but thankfully we made it through, is we had a giant blowout launch party in San Francisco, which was typical of the dot-com days, where you bring in a band. We brought in a band called the B-52s, one of my favorites, if you know them. We rented out this old movie theater and had this most amazing party, and the theme was the end of software. So as you walked in, it was pouring down rain. As you walked in, we had actors in cages in jail cells trying to sell you software. And we had a band playing the end of software songs. And then you go up one level, and we had the B-52s playing, and that was amazing. If we went up one more level, I kind of equated that to heaven, because there was a harpsichordist, and that's where dessert was. And this was crazy. I mean, this thing cost a fortune. And we had taken a lot of investment, and we were building a great product, but we were not, I think the same thing, we were not exactly building a great business yet. We were spending a lot of money on marketing. And at one point later on, I don't know if you remember, but the bubble burst. That was not good, So the first year, I'm kind of moving on. The first year was amazing. It was easy, money and the party, and we were just building. We didn't really have customers, so I didn't have people complaining to me about what they needed. It was awesome, I didn't have that many employees. We're in this beautiful apartment. It was just great. But the bubble did burst, and we had taken $54 million in investment, which, it's funny, today it doesn't sound like very much money given what companies raise today, but it was a lot of money. And the bubble burst, and Mark was not the CEO. We had our original CEO running the company, John Dillon, who did an amazing job, took us to a little over 100 million in revenue. But the bubble burst, and we were looking for more money. We're like, okay, we need to go get more money. And the CFO of the company, who's no longer with us, was saying, oh my gosh, we're running out of money. This is not good. I mean, this is the story you don't hear, so I'm telling it to you. You can't tell anyone. This is all top secret. But, things were not looking good. And I remember, we were going out looking for venture capital. Mark strongly believed that there is no way we needed any more money. We did economically need more money, but he's like, we don't need more money. And he ended up taking over as CEO. And I remember it was a hard time. I don't know how old they were. I had a daughter who was 2.5, and we had just had twins. So I had little babies, and that was hard. That was actually harder than, than building Salesforce. And we started working, on Sundays, going into these meetings with Mark to figure out, what's the plan? How are we going to buckle down and really get through this? We told employees at Christmas, you're going to work for Christmas, and we're not paying you. Okay, and this doesn't come out on the charts when you see our beautiful charts of revenue, but this did happen. But we made it through that. We really worked really hard to think, and we figured out we were paying. At one point, we realized we were paying people out of the market. If you took the whole marketing spend and you broke it down to leads that we were getting that actually closed to deals, we were paying people like $5,000 to start using our service. And we thought, well, we should just go out in the street and just hand people a check. Here's $5,000. We're going to lose money on you, but why don't you sign up for Salesforce.com? And so we totally changed our marketing model. We totally changed our sales model, and we made it through. But building companies is hard, and you want to look at Salesforce, and I'm lucky to be part of Salesforce. It's a huge success. But it's not easy. You're going to go through a period as you build a company. You will have your hard times. And you've got to work really hard. You've got to have leaders that really believe in that vision in the future that, take you there. And sometimes, it's all vision and it's all belief. And so anyway, so that was a little more in their first year, but that was my story.